Who Framed Roger Rabbit? In the modern age of cinema, live actors interacting with animated characters are considered commonplace thanks to the prominent use of CGI, often with some bad results though. However, before computers dominated the industry and hand-drawn was the standard medium of animation, seeing live actors with cartoons are considered a real treat. In fact, some of the best examples of animation are when the characters and actors seamlessly feel like they belong in the same scene. Uncle Remus talking with Brer Rabbit in Song of the South, Jerry dancing with Gene Kelly in Anchors Aweigh, Donald chasing girls in The Three Caballeros, the list goes on. But the best example that everyone points to regarding a great live-action animation hybrid feature is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a movie that pushed both animation and filmmaking in general to new levels. A film so legendary that some have even credited this to regain the public's interest in animation and bring the film medium to become as popular and profitable as it is today. So what is it about this that made it become one of the most important movies in the history of animation? Did it truly earn that spot? Or does it deserve more to have an anvil fall on its head? Let's find out. The story. The best way to describe this story is to imagine a film noir if it were executed like a cartoon from the golden age of animation. The best way to describe the plot, without entering into spoiler territory, is that it's about a rundown detective named Eddie Valiant, who has to solve the mystery of the murder of Marvin Acme. Everyone around him claims that it was Roger Rabbit because Acme had a scandalous night with his wife Jessica. But some evidence may lead to not only that it might not be Roger that did it, but rather something far bigger and sinister. As a murder mystery, it knows exactly what to keep the focus on, and that's the pacing. It knows how to slowly unfurl itself to show more of the pieces and how they can all connect together, while also throwing in a few curveballs that would hint at something, but turn out to be different than expected.
Who said I'm here by myself?
Okay, so it knows how to tell a detective story. But what makes Roger Rabbit stand out from the rest is the execution of the story, mixing the suspense and intensity of a film noir and the humor of a classic cartoon. It knows when it gets serious the more the mystery reveals itself, and the risk about knowing what this info is as it quickly gets deadly with forces that are prepared to stop anything that would set them back. As for the humor, it's mostly made to put up the setting of the feature. Set in Hollywood during the late 1940s, the film enters in a place where toons and humans work with each other, but are clearly viewed as separate classes, where the people are the serious workers that are more about business, while the toons are almost indestructible beings whose purpose is just to entertain. Many have even analyzed this as an allegory to race relations in Hollywood during that era. The toons are also made to help set the tone of the film that perfectly emulates the feeling of an old cartoon. Many have forgotten nowadays that some of the cartoons back in the day have a lot of humor that adults would get more than kids, which is why the movie would slip in some jokes that can be viewed as more risque. Rather, if you view this as either a serious crime thriller or a crazy cartoon, the story works beautifully in every direction. The animation. Whenever you see film analysts bring up this movie, there's often a very good chance that they would discuss about the technical aspect. Yes, the most revolutionary thing this movie has done is the way that it blends a live-action environment and live actors with hand-drawn animated characters. I've already brought up a few examples of how it was already done during the early days of animation, but this movie did it in ways that audiences had never seen before, and maybe never will. One of the most amazing parts is where you see the characters interacting with live-action objects. As it is a film for the late 1980s, CGI has yet to become a mainstream tool in filmmaking, so the film found very creative ways for characters to use real guns, glasses, or just breaking plates over their heads.
Believe me, it's no strain. It feels so great to touch a plate and look at me. No pain, no pain, no pain, no pain, okay.
It also works the other way around when you see Eddie drive around in Benny or using cartoon weapons. What makes the interactions work so well is the acting, both from the animators and the live actors, especially Bob Hoskins as Valiant. The animation studied carefully on how the live action parts were shot, and placed the characters well so that they not only fit in the shot like how they're supposed to, but also feel like they fit around the live action area. As for the part of the actors, the way they play with the weight of the cartoons is what gives out the sense that they're really there. When they show how they feel when they grab or hit a toon, they make it seem genuine and believable, which transcends to the audience that it seems like all types of characters are actually there. However, this blend of mediums wouldn't really mean much if the animation itself isn't good, and that's where Richard Williams and his team come in to deliver some masterclass work. Williams' style is quite known to deliver some of the smoothest movements and its strong use of camera angles, making it a perfect fit for this film. It also helps that the designs of the character animation doesn't bother with trying to blend in with the live action environments. They're all meant to pay homage to the classic cartoons of the 1920s to the 1950s, with emphasis on squash and stretch. Not only does it deliver top quality animation, but the blend with live action is what makes it some of the most innovative use of the medium in film history. The characters. As it is a detective story, the characters are equally as important as the mystery when it comes to developing the plot. And luckily, the movie delivers a lot of info regarding their background and how they act while the crime slowly reveals itself. Before we get into any of the suspects, let's get started with the detective himself, Eddie Valiant. Was once at the top of his game. Now he's a bitter drunk with a prejudice towards cartoons since the day a toon killed his brother and business partner. Even normally goes to the bar run by his ex-girlfriend Dolores. With this case, however, he slowly rekindles his relationship with toons as he puts the pieces together and fully sees how Roger couldn't have done the crime. Speaking of Roger, Roger Rabbit is the central cartoon star of the picture that, of course, is being framed for murder. His career wasn't going well when he discovered that his wife, Jessica, may have been cheating on him, but people claimed that was his motive to kill Marvin Acme. However, he is highly dependent on Eddie to prove his innocence and to make sure he can still be alive from the authorities that want him dead. And then there's Judge Doom, a man with great power who is determined to catch Roger and kill him with his own chemical mixture.
Remember how I always thought there wasn't a way to kill a toon? Well, Doom found a way. Turpentine, acetone, benzene. He calls it the dip.
With his group of toon weasels, he can spread fear all around Hollywood that consequences will be met if you stand in his way. I could go more into him that makes him more threatening as the movie would progress, but like some of the other characters like Jessica Rabbit and RK Maroon, that would go into spoiler territory. But I'll just say that these characters reveal a lot more about themselves as the movie progresses. But of course, I can't talk about this film without mentioning the large amount of cartoon cameos, all featured from several studios from animation's golden era, like Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, Fleischer Studios, and more. Part of the fun of this picture is to point out all the recognizable characters you can find and even giving us the legendary moment of Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny together at the same time.
Ah, no! Ah, poor fella.
Yeah, ain't I a stinker?
Greatly written and greatly acted, the characters are capable of delivering a lot of fun and strong memorability. There are very few films out there that are truly worthy to be described with big words such as groundbreaking, phenomenal, and awe-inspiring. This, however, can be described as all that and more. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a cinematic masterpiece that delivers an amazing script with a highly engaging story, unforgettable characters, on top of all the ones that we all know and love, and some of the most innovative use of animation ever put on film. For any movie fan, and for any animation fan, this is one of those films that you cannot live without seeing. It is an absolute must-watch. In fact, I recommend when the review is done, go check it out now. I don't care if you've already seen it, it is worth watching again and again. Well, of course this gets the AniMat's seal of approval. I should have started this by immediately putting this up in the first place. It is the ultimate love letter to cartoons, film noir, and the golden age of Hollywood, and I love every minute of it. Hey guys, this is AniMat. I just want to start things off by giving a huge thanks to Kim Lechman for her amazing support on Patreon, which allowed her to get so many great rewards, including this one, where she gets to ask me to review Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And my god, this is probably one of the best requests that I've ever had. I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think I would immediately put it up there as not only one of my favorite movies, but also what I would consider one of the best movies out there related to animation. I mean, not necessarily the best animated film, because this doesn't necessarily count as a full-on animated feature, but related to animation, this is still one of the best. This is still highly impressive. It is absolutely phenomenal, and really, the technical innovations that they've done there is equally as amazing as what the filmmakers put onto the script and executed in front of the camera. It really is such a beautiful film. Now, like I said before, part of the fun of watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit is pointing out all the cameos that you can find and seeing all the big crossovers that nobody would ever think would happen in the history of movie making in general. Seeing Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny together, or even seeing Donald Duck and Daffy Duck, it's honestly just insane seeing that on the screen, because there was a time when those two properties, like Disney and Looney Tunes, would be considered like major enemies and rivals, but yet here they are, both of them together, performing, rather it be like dueling on the piano or just hanging out together, just skydiving, you know? It honestly is crazy to watch. But then again, not all the characters ended up being in there. Sure, they did get the rights to a lot of cartoon characters in order to have them to appear in this movie, but there are several of those that didn't really make it. And some of these actually include some recognizable names like Tom and Jerry, Little Lulu, the characters of Popeye like Popeye himself, Olive Oyl, and Bluto. Which, by the way, is it just me, or Popeye is not really lucky when it comes to appearing in movies? Well, at least I got me Robin Williams movie. And also another one, they would include Casper the Friendly Ghost. There was one scene in particular where a lot of those deleted characters would actually appear, and it was in a deleted funeral scene where we would see like kind of this obituary of Marvin Acme, where we see all the characters are sad that he passed away. And then, like, at the end, it would end off with a little gag of Casper coming in, asking, "Will you be my friend?" And everybody runs away because they're freaked out because they saw a ghost. And also the final one is that apparently they couldn't get the rights to the Terry Toons cartoon to appear in there, but then again, I don't know what can you really put onto Who Framed Roger Rabbit when it comes to Terry Toons characters. I guess you could put in, like, Heckle and Jekyll, or maybe Mighty Mouse, or I guess if it were made nowadays, they would easily put in the Touch of My Spaghetti Bear. Like, you'll see Eddie Valiant coming in, asking to go, and he wants to investigate in a restaurant, but the bear will just tell him, "You go home to your house!" But yeah, there are a lot of characters that did get deleted, and of course a lot of ideas that did get deleted, but Either way, I am still highly satisfied with what we got in this movie. Like I said, it truly is a masterpiece of a feature film. So, with all that said and done, it is now time that we shall go and move on to the animation hat. And before I get things started, I just want to start things off by saying that if you guys would like to be like Kim and you want to go and support my work and get some awesome rewards at the same time, including watching my videos before anyone else would, then all you have to do is go to patreon.com/animat. But at the same time, if you guys would like to suggest to me an animated film you would like me to review and I would put onto the animation hat, then all you have to do is just write me an email at animatsreviews@gmail.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and get things started. Hold on, let's see if I can actually grab. Oh yes, I did grab one. Good. And I didn't leave a mess this time. That's the best part. Okay, so the next review shall be... Oh no, oh god, is this it? Oh my god, is this what I think it is? Yep, this is what I think it is. Oh man, this is gonna be quite a fascinating one to look into. So, considering that we did do Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I guess you could say we are going in a smooth transition to go into one of the very few Warner Brothers cartoons, or one of the very few Warner Brothers movies that they did release back during the 90s. And with this one, oh boy, I don't know how to feel. Like, hopefully at best, it'll be something I'll end off by asking, what would I do if I didn't have this movie?
That's all, folks.